Bionicle the game was released in 2003, but fun fact, it wasn't meant to be the first major Bionicle game released. That was meant for Bionicle, The Legend of Matanui, but like everything else that's good in life, it was cancelled. Or was it? But finally, after 2 long, hard and not very enjoyable games, we have a proper game where we actually play as the Toa. Was it worth the wait though? Yeah, I don't know. Kinda, maybe, yes, no. Bionicle the game is, well, technically it's an action platformer, but in some places it's an on-rails shooter, so I'm not really sure what to call it. Apart from trash! Now to its credit, this game does seem to have learned a thing or two from the last ones. Unforgiving checkpoints and limited lives? Nope. Unlimited tries and more save points. Repetitive gameplay with zero variety? Now you get different characters with different moves and abilities. An unbeatable controller snapping lava surfing level? Now collectibles guide your way and the health system's way more forgiving. Sounds good, right? In theory, yes. In practice, it leaves a lot to be desired. It's a bit of a clunky mess, but it leaves you wanting more. The story very loosely follows the 2003 movie, Mask of Light. And when I say story, it's basically Toa 1 runs to tell Toa 2 that they're in danger, who then runs to tell Toa 3, who tells Toa 4, you get the idea. Don't expect this game to help you understand the lore or the events of the movie. I recommend just watching it instead. Actual gameplay wise, it's your standard early 2000s platformer. You run around blasting enemies, collecting shiny things, and occasionally solving puzzles. But just like the last games, they're not really puzzles, it's more like push some rocks and rescue some villagers. And while the last 2 games were painfully repetitive, this one finds a weird middle ground. It's not fresh, but it's not rotten either. It's like that stale middle where you're like, I could eat this, but it might make me sick. And honestly, once you get used to controls, because the camera's inverted, it's kind of fun. But just as you start to enjoy yourself, it's done. The entire game is about an hour long. For the Game Boy that was fine, but for a full PlayStation 2 release, it kind of feels more like a demo than a full game. Let's talk about the one thing I absolutely hate about this. The camera. The camera is the most important thing in a platformer, and this game gets it wrong. It really does work against you, and again, they're inverted with no way to change that. I know, first world problem, but when you're trying to jump out the way and the camera is locked into the center, it stops being a problem and starts getting personal. But when the camera works, it feels epic. You've got elemental powers, sweeping shots, and dramatic music. It's genuinely awesome. But when it doesn't work, it really doesn't work. Like these boss fights. They should feel intense, but instead, they just feel boring and bland. Like this one here, where you just move rocks onto a vent while it half-heartedly attacks you. But that brings me into something that I'm really conflicted on. You've got a shield, it's nice that it blocks everything, but it doesn't run out, so you can just spam it forever. And yeah, I know, I complained the earlier games were too hard, but it's like the game heard me and said, so you want it easier? Fine, here's invincibility. So at the end of the game, you unlock the Toa of Light, you know, the guy on the poster. His level, the last level in the entire game, is just like the rest. It is super short and wildly underwhelming. And the final boss fight with Makuta, it's alright. You fight off waves of enemies, then you do a full-on Gandalf, and in the last section, you wait patiently until he attacks you just so you can deflect it back at him. And again, just like the other games, it just ends. No grand victory, no dramatic cutscenes, no clips from the movies, just credits and then back to menu, I guess. And again, there are collectibles and new stuff to unlock, but no. No thank you. So, overall, Yeah, it's clunky, short, kind of broken, but I actually had fun with it, so I'm torn. Same as always, if you got a couple of hours and a soft spot for Bionicle, it's absolutely worth a playthrough. For me though, I'll continue to wait for that true Toa experience.